The last round of the Mountain Dew ATV Motocross Championship featured a dramatic showdown and an upset of sorts. While the Can-Am riders, led by Joel Hetrick, got out front early, it was a strong charge from the Yamaha duo of Chad Wienen and Thomas Brown that took the crowd's attention. Wienen won Moto 1 in front of his home state fans, and everyone expected the defending champ to come out and deliver again in Moto 2. But not this time. Josh Upperman scored one of his trademark hole shots to lead the day, and the Yamaha boys were left scrambling through traffic. Late in the race, Brown was able to make a charge for the lead on Upperman and executed this pass to take the lead and his first overall victory this season. This year, it's wide open. We're in Nashport, Ohio for the first ever Briar ATV Motocross National. Briar is the name of the racetrack. It's the Built Ford Tough National, with Ford coming on board to back this event. A lot of riders excited about the dirt here, and you can see the track crew getting to work to till this thing up. They believe this layout and this track will lead to great racing, so that's why there are this many fans on hand. It is jam-packed. And they want to see someone try to take it to the champ. Chad Wienen rolling in this series. John Natale, he thinks he's got a shot at it today. Joel Hetrick's team fired up. 39 there was Sean Taylor. Here's the folks working hard at the live wire Can-Am pits. The teams and riders feel they're at mid-season form, and they're pretty relaxed. Check out this pit quad racing that we had to keep the people entertained. But now it's starting to get serious. We're closing in on our pro motos. So let's talk to last week's winner, Thomas Brown, about his hopes for today.
Last weekend we saw you guys. We ended up pulling off our first win of the season, and man, it was actually our first podium trip, so that was pumped. It was a good weekend. Went 2-1 for the Moto win, and man, that was solid. So we're here at up here in Ohio, and we're ready to go again. Just want to stay consistent. And man, I really don't got much to lose. I'm sitting back in points, so it's just out here to drop the hammer and put two good motos and put consistent laps in. That's how you win motos. So let's do that and see if we can get back on top of that box again.
Well, of course, to get on there and get the knock off his teammate, Chad Wienen, who's still on top in the series points. Let's check in with him.
I'm pumped to be here at Briar and had a good, awesome 2 weeks of training, practicing, and we're gonna see if we can get back to the top of the box this weekend and just put in solid motos. Had big points change last couple weekends and been gaining points like crazy, and that's the goal. Don't always win the battles, but win the wars at the end of the season, and that's what consistency is gonna pay off at the end. And I'm ready to see what we got this weekend here at Briarcliff.
Okay, before we go racing, we will have to qualify. So it's time for our Can-Am qualifiers, little riders meeting down there. And now the machines are headed to the gate. We'll set them loose on the track and see how fast they can go next. Racer TV is brought to you by Mountain Dew, by Rocky Mountain ATV MC, by Can-Am, and by Amsoil. Yeah, let's get the beats bumping here. It's time for the Can-Am qualifiers from Nashport, Ohio's Briar Motocross. Jason Wygant here, your host, and you're watching the fastest motocross ATV riders in the world going their fastest. Every week we have 2 rounds of qualifying. It's practice, but at the same time we've got the stopwatches and the transponders out, and we will determine gate picks for the motos based on how fast they go. And since it's really just one lap time that counts, these boys can really uncork it over some of the big jumps, take bigger risks than you would in the actual races. In the end, they are all searching for the ATVRiders.com Fast Qualifier Award. Some of the riders to watch, got Joel Hetrick there in the 88, who's always lightning quick in these sessions. That's the number 9 of Josh Creamer, waiting for Creamer to catch fire here, a former series champ. Any day now, he could be battling there and getting a victory. The veteran John Natale is always in the hunt of the lucky 13. There's the distinctive whip from Hetrick. Wow, that's fun to watch. And you can see why these riders like the track. Not a ton of elevation change, but it is hard and it is fast, and we'll really be able to unleash it today. And I think they have fun on some of these jumps too. There's Sean Taylor. I mentioned him earlier. Checking him out in the pits. Here are your results. Wienen fastest in the first qualifier, Upperman second, and then Chad really making a statement a little bit later because he's the fastest rider in a second qualifier. Although he's the points leader and defending champ, he doesn't always rail these qualifier sessions quite like this, so he set himself up for a nice day. We'll see if anyone can knock him off in the races. Now before we go racing, the fans want one last chance to cheer for their home state boy, Josh Upperman. He'd like to deliver a win for them today.
Been training for my home race here, and I'm just really happy. I just got off the qualifier. I had second fastest lap time, so that's a huge thing. And me and Mark are both happy. We're going to take that momentum and hopefully get a good hole shot, good start, and be on top of the box.
Simple plan. We'll see who can execute it. We'll be racing in Moto number 1 when we return here to Briar Cliff MX in Ohio. You're watching Racer TV. Racer TV is brought to you by Mountain Dew, by Rocky Mountain ATV MC, by Can-Am, and by Amsoil. Cool to have that overhead view of this Briar Cliff track. We'll see how it works. First time we've ever had a Mountain Dew ATV Motocross National here. These are all AMA Pro riders, the best in the business. There's last week's winner, Thomas Brown, and your defending champ, Chad Wienen, right there with him. The Yamahas have been on top so far. Jeff Rastrelli going to run our Rocky Mountain ATV MC onboard. Rastrelli was really fast out of the gate in our last event. Let's see how he does here. Not so good this time, and a bunch of riders piled up, including Joel Hetrick, who is on the ground. Like he might have had a good start in the mix there, but instead he'll have to come from last. Rastrelli held up. He's got some work to do also, and he's not wasting time doing it. Meanwhile, no surprise, Josh Upperman has got the whole shot. SSI decal is going to be hooking him up with some extra money for that. But check it out. We have a battle on our hands. Ronnie Higgerson on the gas. I think he just made the pass. Upperman going to try to come back on this straightaway. Looks like Thomas Brown in third. Higgerson able to lock it down, and he's into the lead. Rider out of Illinois, great job. Let's see him run the point position on the 665. We've seen Higgerson up front a few times this year, but not all the way to the number 1 spot, I don't believe. So it's a little different when you've got clear racetrack. Normally it's a good thing, but when you're doing it for one of the first times ever, riders again sometimes get nervous, so we will see if he's relaxed. Leading here on lap 1. He sure looks relaxed and comfortable as he starts to stretch it out on Upperman. And the Wienen Motorsports Yamaha is flying in formation, 3rd and 4th now behind him. And it looks like Taylor coming through next. And certainly chaos off the start with Hetrick going down. That held up a lot of riders, so you see a nice little breakaway with this lead group. But right now they are all chasing Ronnie Higgerson on the BCS Performance Can-Am. Boy, that deep soil that we had earlier has really dried out. Oh, Rastrelli crashes hard with our onboard. Oh man, those are the dangers of that bad start. Got tangled up there and had to work his way through traffic, and then you're bumping wheels, tires, elbows, and everything else, trying to make passes. Speaking of making passes, Chad Wienen up to 3rd around Thomas Brown, and now zeroing in and launching past the 20 of Upperman. Shot out of a cannon. Upperman trying to pay him back on the inside, no dice, and suddenly Ronnie Higgerson has to deal with the champ. And Wienen looks especially fired up today. Edged out at his home race last time out, probably not happy about it. It's been 2 races since Wienen has won an overall, and that's a long time for him. And now he's got the lead. So he's gotten past Higgerson somewhere in the back. And there you see Rostrelli getting back on his machine after that vicious early crash. See, he's okay. Battle for second heating up. No surprise. You knew Brown was going to try to roll and at least get to the podium, but he's got 2 riders to get around first. Upperman just made the move on Higgerson, and Brown is sitting back there as well. So a 3-rider shootout for 2 podium spots. I don't know if they're going to get Chad Wienen in this one. Higgerson doing a good job making that BCS Can-Am as wide as possible. So Brown just says, I'll go the fast way around the outside. And I think he might have made the pass. We'll see right here. Yes, he has. Man, this track is wide open. Looks like Hetrick making up for that crash. He has caught John Natale. They are battling for a piece of the top 5. And that's just salvaging championship points. Josh Creamer now out. Bad news for that BCS Can-Am rider. He has had tough luck this year. So besides Higgerson's strong performance, every other of the Can-Am riders have really had a tough go of it in this one. We focus in here on this second place battle between Upperman and Brown. And remember, it's a 2-moto format. As always, we combine the scores from the first 2 races, so a second in Moto 1 is as good as a first if you can go back and win Moto 2. So you know that Upperman and Brown are going to scrap hard for this one to maybe put themselves in position for an overall. That is what Brown did a week ago. And Hetrick has cleared Natale and is going after Higgerson. So that's 4th and 5th. Well, Chad Wienen, he has put in some great rides, obviously, the last couple years. That's why he's your defending champ. But this might have been his best yet. I think he's even backed it down a tad now that he's got a little gap built up. But the way he just forced the issue to get to the front, very impressive. And 2 men standing now in this battle for second. White flag is out. Upperman still has the, yes, upper hand. And let's see if Brown can do anything about that. Higgerson still holding off Hetrick. Nicely done. Boy, Hetrick has to have expended a lot of energy coming from what I would presume is about last place to threaten for 4th. We got a threat for 2nd here still with Brown. And look how close Higgerson and Hetrick are. That's a great ride for Hetrick. Again, he was on the floor in turn 1. He can see 2nd in some of the longer sections, but you can't see 1st. This guy is gone. Chad Wienen, a big win. Moto 1 at Briar Cliff. And awesome riding for Upperman. The fans happy about that. He holds on for 2nd. Hetrick gets Higgerson on the last lap. He's got an outside shot, I'd say, at the overall win if things get crazy in Moto 2. ATV Motocross is brought to you by Mountain Dew, by Rocky Mountain ATV MC, by Can-Am, and by Amsoil. Time for a Mountain Dew moment. D-Man-Shack, take it.
Hi guys, I'm D-Man-Shack with a Mountain Dew moment. Today we're going to talk about something a little bit different. You guys see stock bikes, you think you can go down to the dealership and jump out there on a motocross track and just ride like some of these guys. Not going to happen with some of the technology some of these guys got. We're going to show you something that's pretty neat about some of the technology and what we do in the winter when we're doing testing out of the track. You guys can see here we've got a Moto custom front shock. This one actually has 3 different, and this one actually has 4 springs in it, so there's different layers and stages that the shocks go through as the front end compresses. This is important when you're trying to set a bike up for how far it actually rolls, dives, or how it corners when it goes around the outside of a hard pack corner. You can actually tune and adjust these things based on however the track conditions change. We have the same exact setup on the back of the bike. So when you guys are trying to get the bikes to handle better, you want to make sure you come out and take advantage of some of the shock benders out here, because these guys are the professionals. These guys know how to make these bikes work the right way. Don't just throw a set of shocks on there and think they're going to work perfect. Everything's got to be done as a combination and as a kit. Make sure you use true and tested motocross shock setups. All right, guys, we'll see you next time on the Mountain Dew Moment.
All right, thanks, D. And that's the key in motocross. Suspension really a bigger part of the equation than even horsepower, even though it is a race. And the horsepower does help you get the starts. If you're not comfortable on the machine in the rough stuff and in the corners, it's over. Let's go racing here at Moto 2. Well, how about this? The complete opposite of Moto 1. John Natale, not a good start in that one. He has got your SSI decals whole shot. Well, maybe not that different. Actually, I thought Chad Wienen was getting bumped and squeezed around there in the first turn, but he has somehow emerged in second place. And that is Ronnie Higgerson with another good start. So definitely learning how to run with the big dogs in this one. Getting a look at the champ. He was up front the entire first moto, but here we go. Old warhorses, Natalie and Wienen. They have had so many great battles through the years. Natalie is just so determined. He's so experienced. Makes him very hard to get around. But Wienen has been so strong making passes today. Those quick moves after the start in this one. And then an amazing performance early in Moto 1. Look at how fierce this pack is, though. Any mistakes from these guys, it's going to open the door for someone else to break through. And I think they know it. The two veterans up front have put the hammer down. Going to be some great racing here on TV, so stay with us as Natalie tries to hold on to the lead. And look at this. Hedrick going after Higgerson. Stay with us. Racer TV is brought to you by Mountain Dew, by Rocky Mountain ATV MC, by Can-Am, and by AMSOIL. Battle is on for the lead here at the Briar Motocross track's first ever Mountain Dew ATV Motocross National. John Natalie leading the way with Chad Wienen right behind him. And look at this battle. Ronnie Higgerson, Joel Hedrick, and now Thomas Brown duking it out for a third. Oh, Wienen's got a line down the inside. Just out jumping Natalie and pushing him off the track. Wow. Now, I'm not sure. As Natalie, of course, these other guys are going to take advantage of that and try to get by him. Higgerson and Hedrick all over him. I was going to say, I'm not sure if that was intended to be a dirty move by Wienen or if he just dove so hard into that corner trying to make the pass that he couldn't get it stopped on the inside. Guarantee you that Natalie's not going to be happy about it. Thomas Brown somehow making moves, and he has gotten to third. I don't even know how he made that happen. Got around both of the Can-Am riders. They're not going to be happy about this. Hedrick trying to make moves on Higgerson. He's been back behind him most of this race. Well, you see what happens if you're polite in that corner. He didn't take him off the track, like what happened to Natalie with Wienen, but he also did make the pass. Good job by Natalie. He has pulled it back away. And it looks like Hedrick has finally made the pass stick on Higgerson and has focused back in on the rear tires of Brown. Oh! Hedrick was trying to jump that on the inside and trying to make a similar move to what Wienen did earlier. Came up short of the jump. That was a hard landing. Here we go. Big battle between Brown and Hedrick. Hedrick is really rallying late. He's going to try this inside line again. Like I said, you got to be polite if you want to leave anybody room. It was enough, though. He's got the pass for third. Higgerson and now Upperman in a battle to stay inside the top five. Wienen is gone. Best performance of the year, I feel, for the champ. And Natalie happy, I'm sure, with the bounce back here in Moto number 2. And Hedrick, well, it was just about the start for him. He crashed in turn 1 of the first race. Had good speed there. Has to wonder if he was able to get going up front in either of these motos, what would have happened. Either way, more points gained for the series leader, Chad Wienen. Dominates here in Ohio. Natalie finishes up in second. Here's your overall results. Hedrick somehow is second. Way to persevere. Let's talk to these guys.
It was a good weekend. We had some ups and downs. We had some decent starts. Me and Joel, that second moto, had a gnarly battle all the way to the finish pretty much. I mean, the last 2 laps, he kind of pulled a little gap on me. But, man, overall, great weekend. Back in the box, made us some points. Couldn't be really happy. You know, obviously I want that win, but, man, it's a good weekend. I got to thank the Wienen Motorsports, SI Decal, Walsh Racecraft, Maxxis, Yamaha. Man, them guys are awesome. The guys that fly, FMF. Dude, just so many people just keeping us going. I got a big shout out to my dad for Father's Day weekend here. and then my mechanic Nate, and the whole support group and the family, man. Gotta thank everybody. Thank y'all.
Started out the weekend with third in time qualifying. Came out with the first moto. I was in second on the whole shot and got into Chad and fell off the bike. Got back on. Came from 15th to 4th. Second moto, had a better start and just battled with Thomas most of the race. Got around him for third and second overall. I'm pretty pumped. Glad to be back up here.
You know, wanted to start really bad. John edged me out and just made some quick work of guys in front of me and, you know, just really made it happen. Got John down here at the bottom of the hill, came up next to him, and both of us were battling for that spot. And I had the edge on the inside and kind of gave him an option to let off, and both of us came together down there. And you know, inside guy I was able to make it happen and pass for the lead, and you know, just being able to ride my own race out there again, just as I did the first moto. And got to thank my sponsors, Wiener Motorsports, at the Side Decal, Walsh Racecraft. Guys from Yamaha, huge props to this machine, it's awesome. FMF, Fly, Scott Goggles, you know, just thank you to everybody. LSR, you know, just thank you.
Here's our Amsoil race recap. Jeff Rastrelli shows you what it's like to barely avoid a first turn pileup. He would later crash in this moto, so it was a rough day for him. Meanwhile, Josh Upperman giving the fans what they want, leading this one early, but then he was under heat. Ronnie Higerson getting around, then Chad Wienen on the move. Wienen would take the lead, and it was a tremendous fight deeper in the pack. Hetrick, after a first turn crash, would get in the mix. Thomas Brown fired up from last week, and Higerson hung tough. Wienen would go on to an easy moto victory. Moto number 2, John Natale, basically not even seen in the first moto, way to bounce back, would go out there and get the whole shot. But he had heat from Wienen, who would quickly elbow his way into second and then make this very aggressive move to take over the lead. Joel Hetrick had to come from about 5th. He made some strong passes, getting around Thomas Brown and Higerson. That would be enough, actually, to put him in second overall, but Wienen goes 1-1 in the day. That makes it easy. Y'all said Thomas Brown up there in the box. Great racing today. Thanks for joining us. For everyone at Racer TV, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for watching.